is Inside Out.
Inside Out is presented by HTC, here to connect. And Magnolia's at 26th for good old-fashioned Southern comfort food, where Mama eats.
'Tis the season, friends, and welcome to December's Inside Out. This month, we're going traveling, but we're not going far. We're going to Loris, Pawleys Island, Conway, and Myrtle Beach. And at the end of the show, I'm going to be telling you all about how I was once named the first female Santa in the USA back in 1971. And I was named that by the Associated Press. You'll get the story at the end of this program. But right now, we're going to meet up with one of Santa's most gorgeous helpers. And we're not going to the North Pole. As a matter of fact, he's just around the corner. Well, look who I found, Toymaker Santa. And isn't he handsome? The old world look, and you don't see this very often. This is Tony Perry, retired owner at Lakewood Campground, and that's where we are right now. And the kids here just love him. How did this Santa bit start for you?
Well, Christmas has always been a wonderful time of year. It's always been a wonderful time of year for our family. We've always enjoyed it, and my family, as they get older, their hair always turned white. And I was like, oh, wouldn't that be great? I could play Santa one day, because I've always had a beard. Unfortunately, my beard has never changed. In all these years, it's gray, but it's not white. Fortunately, I have a daughter that is a cosmetologist. And so I came up one day and had a whim, and I said, hey, can you do this? She said, yeah. So she did.
Well, Santa, you're doing it for a good reason. You've been doing this for what, 4 years now?
I've been doing it for about 4 years now, and love every minute of it. We started off here at Lakewood just doing it for Ice Cream with Santa and greeting the people that were here, and it's grown. Last year I did Lakewood Elementary School. I'll be doing that again this year. We did over 1,000 kids where we met them. Last month I was at the Dickens show. So it's just a lot of fun meeting all the kids.
And it's really neat because you don't tell people that you're the real Santa. You let them know that you're assisting Santa.
Well, we have lots of kids here that do know me as Tony Perry, but they also know me as Santa. And to explain that is explain that Santa actually sends me a letter. This year he sent me an entire mailbox about this tall to collect his mail for him. And he sent me a letter and said, hey, I'm not going to be able to visit everyone in the world this year, so I need you to help me. So that's what I'm doing, is I'm helping him visit all the kids.
And what I love is that you give out a bell to each of the children. And
I do.
That's unique. And what is the reference of the bell?
Well, the bell is actually, I brought you one.
Oh, thank you, Santa.
It's one of my reindeer bells. And after, you can't use them all the time. They do lose their luster. But I brought you one, and that's one of the first bells of Christmas. You can ring it. It sounds wonderful. Now, little kids that come up to me that when I'm not in my Santa outfit, sometimes they'll walk up and they do recognize me as Santa. And so when they do, and I'm not in this outfit, then what I've got to do is their parents will come up and they'll say, they want to know if you're the real Santa. And I say, well, I'm helping the real Santa, yes. And as a matter of fact, he sent me a bell for you. So that's what these little bells.
And I bet they treasure it forever.
They do. And so each little kid that comes up, they'll reach in my pocket, and I carry those with me always. And so they have a memento of meeting Santa.
I love the story about a family from Norway showing up here at Lakewood and being so impressed. As a matter of fact, Santa, just stand up for a moment and let's get a shot from head to toe because you are exquisite.
Well, this outfit is actually designed after the Laplanders of Norway. And that's what this shirt is, the pants, the boots, everything are designed after them. And so we had a family camping here at the campground that came to our Polar Express night, and I came out, and they were so surprised because what I looked like to them was their Santa. And they were so surprised to finally see someone dressed like they represent. And to me, this is Toymaker Santa. I'm making the toys for all the kids, and that's what I'm representing is
What are some of the things the kids ask you about?
Well, one of the main ones are, where's Rudolph? Where's the reindeer? Well, obviously we can't have them parking in the parking lot. We can't have them inside. So I tell the kids where they are is they're flying around. They're pulling my sleigh. They're flying around the clouds, just waiting on me to signal them. And that's what this set of bells that I carry on my side, that's what it's for. So if I ring it too loudly, they'll come down. And so I show them the bells, and I usually carry around a second set of bells that they can ring. And that way that kind of explains where the reindeer are.
So Santa, by now there's people who I'm sure want to book you for an upcoming occasion, and I know you prefer nonprofit organizations.
I do, and they can reach me at Facebook, look up Tony Perry and message me anytime, and I'll get back to them as soon as I can.
Even Santa has a Facebook page. I'm going to let you go now so you can get back to the workshop. And just remember, I've been a very good girl.
Awesome.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Coming up, it's Salty Dogs in Pawleys Island and American Hero in Loris.
From Merle's Inlet to Marion, from the golf courses to the area's gorgeous beaches, HTC is here to connect you with the largest fiber optic network in the area. We are here to help our communities, here to help you benefit as a member of our local cooperative, and here to empower the moments that are important in your life. We're HTC, and we're here to connect you to your world.
Bring in the new year with the Long Bay Symphony at their New Year's Eve Gala. It's an elegant evening with an open bar cocktail hour, a delicious 3-course dinner, a symphony concert, dancing, and a New Year's champagne toast. Dressed to the nines, but black tie is optional. The New Year's Eve Gala, December 31st at the Hilton Myrtle Beach Resort Palisades Ballroom. VIP tickets are also available, so call early at 843-448-8379 or go online at longbaysymphony.com.
Welcome to Pawleys Island. We're in Stables Park, and we're talking about a wonderful organization that's all about dogs, and it's called Salty Dogs. I want you to meet Trish, who happens to be a board member for this organization. How did this get started?
Wow. Two good friends of mine, Holly McManus and Laura Brancini, were very involved in rescue work, and they founded the company basically in 2022, and I joined the board shortly thereafter. Our mission is to basically rescue senior dogs that are 6 years and older from situations where individuals have passed away or individuals have gone into retirement communities and they can't care for them any longer. So it's a wonderful organization.
A feel-good organization, which is why I wanted you on here. And when I've talked to all the other nonprofit animal organizations, they said you all work together. If they have an animal that's 6, 7, or 8, they call you to help you foster.
Absolutely. We found that senior dogs really do not do well in a kennel shelter situation. They've only been in a home and they don't know anything other than being loved and cared for and pampered. And to put a senior dog into a shelter in a crate somewhere and not have that love and tenderness, it's very, very difficult and a lot of anxiety involved for them.
And Trish, even though you're an organization that does not have a building, no bricks and mortar, you're all volunteer. I mean, it's really amazing how you all are operating, but doing so well. And you're celebrating.
We are celebrating actually our 100th rescue with the dog we have here today. It's been a wonderful time getting so many dogs into us from different shelters and individuals even who have reached out to us and have asked if it's possible for us to take a dog in from a family member. But it's worked out great, and we need more volunteers to help us out. We can take any dog in as long as it's over 6, and we have the capacity, which means that we need a volunteer foster who can actually foster that dog. Because again, there aren't any bricks and mortar. It's going into a home. It's coming from a home and going into a home.
Let's talk about how you raise money, because you do need money, of course, I'm sure, to get these dogs vaccinated, because you're picking dogs up too throughout Horry and Georgetown counties right off the street, because people are dumping dogs.
They're dumping dogs because there really isn't any room in any shelters. If you watch any of the news, you'll see that the shelters are full. They're constantly looking to try to get people to adopt. Our major expense is the medical expense, and a lot of the dogs come to us needing surgeries due to injuries or health conditions that haven't been taken care of. But we try to use all our funds to take care of the dogs best we can and get them into the proper care with veterinary needs.
This little dog we have here today, the 100th rescue, certainly had a very bad flea infestation.
Avery came with us with some major skin conditions, and he's getting treated, and when you see him, you'll see that his fur is starting to grow out now nicely, but it just takes time. It just takes time and effort and having a great foster to look after him, which Sally is.
And of course, you mentioned needing funds, so we want people to donate to this organization, but also you have a big fundraiser coming up after the first of the year.
We do. This is actually our second annual Mardi Gras. It's going to be down at Green Bay Park, and it's going to be vendors and food trucks and a parade with lots of dogs from the area and our dogs included. We hope to have some people who will be in the parade and bring their golf carts all decked out. So we're very much looking forward to it. It's the Saturday before the Super Bowl on February 10th.
So in wrapping up, what are the things you need the most? You've already said money.
Absolutely. Number one is donations, because we really need to take care of the dogs that come in for medical expenses. And they're over $40,000 a year just for medical expenses. But we get them vetted out, and then we're able to adopt them out. And number two is volunteers. In order for us to get rescues in, we need a volunteer who can take the dog into their home, because we don't have bricks and mortar. And those fosters that we have are just invaluable to us. But the volunteers also do a lot of other things. We have volunteers that help out at events where we do our fundraising and we sell products for Salty Dogs. We also have volunteers who do transport. We have volunteers who help clip nails and simple things like that. Volunteers are huge, and we just put it out there. Please think of us and maybe add us to your list for what you can do in the future.
And don't miss the big party on the Saturday before
Super Bowl Sunday, yes, be there.
You got it. Thank you so much, Trish. It's a wonderful, feel-good organization. When I heard about Salty Dogs, I fell in love with what they do. All volunteers taking in dogs over 6 years old and giving them a home and a future.
Thank you so much, Diane.
Thank you. So when you are sick and tired of turkey and ham from Thanksgiving and Christmas, you need to come to American Hero in Loris for the best sandwiches anywhere in our coverage area. Why? Because this man's going to see to it. Quality all the way here at American Hero.
We got quality in American Hero. We get the Philly cheesesteak. It's one of the best sellers we have. And we have the Italian. And that's a good seller too.
Now,
Go ahead.
I got to tell them that my husband just ate the Philly cheese. But when Alex prepared for me this huge American Hero, you see it there. See it? He said, you're only going to be able to eat half of it. I'm going to wrap it up and let you take the rest home. I said, oh no, Alex, I can eat the whole thing. And I did.
I was shocked to eat the whole sandwich. But she said she didn't have breakfast.
No, and you know what? Not only did I not have breakfast, I ate the American Hero because I am an American hero.
You are a hero.
So Alex,
we have another hero here.
But they're the two most famous sandwiches, the Philly cheese and the American Hero. But there's tons of them. You must have 30 sandwiches. And what I love too is that you have great breakfasts.
We do have the bagel, the croissants. It's good. I mean, you try our breakfast, you always come back.
Oh, okay. You come right in here, Monica.
It is coming with a gyro.
Ooh.
Would you like the gyro?
And the gyro is a good quality gyro. Got some more meat in it.
Oh, this looks great. My goodness.
Okay, what would you like, darling?
Lettuce,
lettuce,
Tomato.
tomato,
Onion.
onion, banana peppers,
Yes, ma'am.
a pickle.
What would you like on your other gyro? Same thing? Yes, ma'am.
Amazing. What I love too is that when people come in,
Thank you, darling. God bless.
luncheon meat is not just like prepared and laying around waiting for someone to come in to make a sandwich. They cut the meat as each sandwich is
That's
ordered.
correct. We got the slicer. We cut them in the meat for every sandwich. And we can make you any sandwich you want. You want that meat with that meat, we fix it your way. It's your way or no way.
Your way or no way.
Regular plain?
Take it to the highway. Yeah. So everyone in Loris is lined up here every day except Sunday for delicious food.
Yeah.
And Alex, I'm amazed that all your bread comes from New York.
A good bread, that's a key for a good sandwich.
And good meat.
And a good meat. And slice it fresh.
But let's face it, he knows what he's talking about because he's been doing this here for 27 years. So Alex, how did a guy who was born in Egypt wind up in Loris? Please tell me.
Well, I lived in New York and then I ended up coming to a beautiful Loris, and I'm happy that I came to Loris. But I'm a Christian Egyptian, I like to say that.
That's very nice. Now here you also have some wonderful platters like for people who want to have a party or sadly bring food to a funeral. You can prepare sandwiches galore, and you also have magnificent desserts. Tell me about those because I'm not leaving without one.
We like to let you know about the catering. Any occasion, we do catering for you. And we got wonderful cake over here, fresh, what you call homemade, is excellent there, all different kinds.
Come on over, sir. We're not here to scare business away. We're
You
here
call then?
we're here to create business.
All right, I like it.
And so I want to ask you one more thing. I am told that you have one of the best staffs in all of the county.
That's true. Without those staff, I cannot make it.
I mean, look at them. They're
I
working their
cannot
butts
make
off
it. I
around
got
us.
the best people here.
And Alex, that gives you time to play
Pickleball.
pickleball. He's become a pickleball pro in Loris.
And pickleball is a good game. I recommend it to anybody. And anybody needs help with pickleball, I help them.
Now, finally, in our last 30 seconds, you invite everyone who's watching to come to American Hero in downtown Loris.
That's correct. American Hero, we've been here for 27 years. Successful, repeating customer all the time. And we're busy. And thank God for that.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right, everyone, downtown
But
Loris.
thank God for the worker I have. Wonderful staff.
American Hero, right here in Loris. Author Ted Gragg is coming up next. Don't go away.
From the Grand Strand to the farmland, from Main Street to the marshes, HTC is here to connect you to what matters most in your life. We're here to bring people together, here to play, and here to empower our communities with the largest fiber optic network in the area. Go with HTC. We are here to connect you to your world.
This segment of Inside Out is brought to you by Magnolia's at 26th for good old-fashioned Southern comfort food, where Mama eats.
If you love history, you're going to love this book, Defiant Carolinians, with Ted L. Gragg, together with his wife, Connie B. Gragg, a novel of Revolutionary War in Horry and Georgetown counties. But of course, everyone knows Ted. He's been around here for a long time, has been serving on the board of the Horry County Museum forever, and is still chairman of the board, and has been involved in so many aspects of history. Ted, tell me about this new book.
Well, the new book started with the idea, along with the museum a long time ago. We needed a way to preserve history. You've had over 400 battles in South Carolina alone of the Revolutionary War. People don't realize it. And all of the characters that you've heard since childhood were involved at one time or another. So we developed the book around it. It's fiction, some of it, but it's all based on history. So it's fun.
Well, it is fun, and I haven't finished it, but the fact is, the few pages that I've been able to read since you gave me the book, I think this is the kind of history that those of us who wouldn't sit down and read a history book would enjoy, because there's all sorts of characters and real life incidences. Tell me about the leading characters.
The leading character is a chap named Bowie Avery and his wife Tegan. They both are Scottish descendants. They both came from Charleston and settled in the back country of Horry County in an area that we look at today as Hickory Grove.
And these two characters take us through the entire history.
They take us through most of the history of the combat and action that's done in the southern part of the state. And at the same time, not only just the action, but their everyday life in carving a home out of the wilderness.
There's a lot of references to Francis Marion in the book.
Yes, because we put this young man in as a scout for Francis Marion to give him an opportunity to travel throughout the state and surround himself with the other characters of the Revolutionary War that we all know so well.
It's so interesting, too, that we're here in the Bear Bluff community where you live doing this interview, and you talk about Bear Bluff in the book.
The last couple of chapters in the book deal definitely with the battle and engagement at Bear Bluff. The Patriots were led by a chap from Murrells Inlet. Now, as we know it, he owned property over there. His name was Daniel Morale. And he was a sergeant at the time, but he was well versed and promoted quickly. So when they garnered and fought the British regulars at Bear Bluff, in our book, they won.
But
in real life, it's said that they didn't. But here's the thing. Years ago, I interviewed a man that was a descendant of the Vareens that owned that property. And he was the third generation. This 96-year-old man told me the story. And at the time that he did, the house where the only non-combatant was killed in that battle was still there, as well as the bullet hole in the wall and the broken loom. And that's all I'm going to tell. The rest of them I have to find it by reading the book.
you gotta read the book. But this isn't the only book Ted and Connie have put together. All of Ted's books are going to be available at a book signing coming up on December 9th, and Ted has invited me to participate with my book, Floating on Air, A Broadcasting Love Affair, and Susan McMillan with all of her postcard books are going to join us. Tell us all about the event.
Well, the event's going to be exciting. It's right after the Christmas parade. It's on Main Street at our next chapter. Starts at 12, and we'll be there till 3 o'clock.
And that's the name of the new bookstore, Our Next Chapter
That's
on Main
correct.
Street in Conway, December 9th. And you're going to have your other books there?
We'll have the other books there also. The first one, of course, was Puma. If you read that, keep the lights on. The second and third one were the tales of the gun raising and location from the CSSPD, and of course, Defiant Carolinians. And we have a fifth book on the way, but it won't be ready in time. But you'll need to keep the lights on for it also.
Ted, I thank you so much for being with us. Pretty scary stuff, huh? Ted Gragg here on Inside Out. Thank you, Ted. Happy holidays.
You too, Diane.
And my own personal Santa story from 1971 and 72 coming up next. Mama loves magnolias, and you will too. It's where the Anderson family farm comes to the table. There's an all-you-can-eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, Saturday and Sunday brunch buffet, salad bar, homemade desserts, all served by our staff. Mama's right. You can't cook it this cheap. And that ice cream machine guaranteed to produce smiles. Banquet space available too. Magnolias for good old Southern comfort food and hospitality at its finest. 26th Avenue North and Ocean Boulevard in Myrtle Beach. So this is a story I have never told in my 51-year career on television, but I'm going to tell it to you today. In 1971, I was named the first female Santa in the USA by the Associated Press. And here's how it came about. I was working at Treasure City department store in Florence, South Carolina, which was very much like a Kmart. And what would happen on Thanksgiving Day is that Santa would arrive by parachute onto the roof of the Treasure City department store with thousands of families in the parking lot. I mean, this was the biggest deal on Thanksgiving Day in Florence each and every year. The Santa would parachute to the roof, and then Santa's helper inside the store would become the Santa Claus, of course, for the rest of the season. I was working in the ladies department at the time, and of course, on Thanksgiving Day in 1971, the Santa's helper did not show up. When Mr. Atlas, the manager, called him, he was drunk as a skunk, as they say. And needless to say, there was no Santa to greet these thousands of children in the parking lot. Well, Mr. Atlas, the manager, started to panic, and there were no men who worked at the store back then except for the maintenance engineer, and he couldn't do it. But I came to the rescue and said, Mr. Atlas, I can be your Santa for today. I'm a cheerleader at Francis Marion, and I can talk really low, and the kids won't know any difference. And of course, Mr. Atlas said, oh, go back to the ladies department. We can't have a female Santa. And I said, well, they won't know I'm a female. Well, obviously, after 15 to 20 minutes, Mr. Atlas had no choice. And so he sent me to the notions department, which is where they sold all sorts of fabric and string and buttons and ribbon and, you know, those kinds of things. And they wrapped me in cotton and put me in the Santa suit. And I greeted the children that day. Well, it was a wonderful experience. And of course, I used my cheerleading voice. And one of the saddest things during this particular time was many of the children were asking Santa to bring their daddies home from Vietnam. I still get choked up thinking about it. It was very difficult. And as the children would cry, well, so did Santa in many instances. Well, I was so good at it on Thanksgiving Day, he hired me for the rest of the season. But meanwhile, the local paper, the Florence Morning News, did a story. And then Cecil Chandler, who had just started working at Channel 13, came out and did some video. And of course, between the two of those things, Associated Press picked it up and it went clear across the country as the first female Santa in the USA. And it was really billed as a women's lib article. And yet, even though I certainly support women's rights, I was never a women's libber. But the story went clear across the country, and I got proposals from people in jail, men all over the country, and I guess part of it was because the local newspaper featured me, one picture, Santa, and the other picture, me in a swimsuit from one of the Miss Florence pageants. Yeah, it was a very interesting time. I even got an offer from Playboy magazine, which I thought was a joke when I got the phone call. And then the next day, I received a telegram from Playboy verifying who they were and that it was a legitimate offer. Well, obviously, I wasn't going to do anything like that. I was real active in my church. It just wasn't anything I was interested in doing. But needless to say, I went on in 1972 to be Santa Claus as well at Treasure City Department Store. It was one of the highlights of all my Christmases ever, 1971 and 1972. Salute, the first female Santa in the USA. How about that? Friends, for the next 3 months here on Inside Out, which by the way will be our last 3 months, we'll be taking a look back at some of the poignant and funny moments of our show since its inception, kind of a behind the scenes look. So I hope you'll tune in to January, February, and March to take a look back along with us. And meanwhile, all of us here at HTC wish you a blessed Christmas, a wonderful holiday, regardless of what you are celebrating. And be sure to join us next year for more Inside Out.
Inside Out is presented by HTC, here to connect. And Magnolia's at 26th for good old-fashioned Southern comfort food, where Mama eats.